Nurses are not professionals.
With the country deep in the throes of a nursing shortage, big questions today about a new edict from the Department of Education. The department no longer considers nursing as a professional degree, a move critics warn could shrink an already strained workforce. The reclassification will limit the loan and loan forgiveness options available to students in those nursing programs.
He wants the Department of Education to declassify nursing as a professional degree, advanced practice nursing, like our CRNAs, our nurse practitioners, our masters. Why does this matter? Because nursing is one of them careers that pull you up out of poverty. Gives us a great opportunity to provide for our families and for our life. Most homeowners I know, nurses. A lot of heads of households, nurses. A lot of minority women, nurses. So declassifying us as a professional practice, you thereby limit our access to funding. So you limit a lot of women and minorities women access to further climb the socioeconomic ladder. Yes, this is why it's such a big deal, gang. You think these little insidious things don't matter? They always matter, and there's always something that happens at the end of that affects people. And these type of things will affect patients, specifically patients. I'm one nurse trying to spread the word, so if you can, make as much of an uproar as you can.
Good morning, MAGA Trump supporters, specifically women who want to become nurses. I'm just wondering, how are you doing this morning? How are you doing this morning knowing that they want to strip away your professional degree? I mean, they've already proved to us that they don't like women, right?
That the people who are making these decisions are old people who are soon to be going to be screaming for their nurse to change their bedpan. But I digress. And as someone who's a nurse, I want to go over some things that make nursing very unprofessional, because it makes a lot of sense. Number one, as nurses, we save lives, and that is so overrated. Like, who cares anymore that you dedicate your entire career to saving people's lives? It's not like if we all quit our jobs, the entire healthcare system wouldn't collapse on itself, because it definitely would. And number two, we don't just save people's lives, we keep people alive. But I saw on the list that they consider chiropractics professional, but not nursing. So honestly, in the ICU, just fire all of those ICU nurses. They're just a waste of money. Just put chiropractors in there and just have them adjust every patient. And then all of a sudden, I bet they'll get better patient outcomes than whatever we could do,
Not only is this extremely insulting to some of the most integral healthcare providers that we have, but it will also likely impact staffing of these types of practitioners. We're currently facing an extreme nursing shortage, and it's only going to get worse over the next several years. Now, there are a lot of reasons for this, but one big one is burnout. Surveys show that 4 in 5 nurses face extreme stress while at work. And this has only been made worse after the pandemic, where you get stupid people who don't respect them and will even assault nurses. And staffing shortages, partly caused by poor reimbursements from insurance companies to hospitals, cause these nurses to have to handle many more patients than they can safely handle. Now, on top of that, the Department of Education, headed by former WWE executive Linda McMahon, is now calling them no longer professionals. And this will limit the amount of federal student loans that nursing students can take out. Now, this can't make the nursing shortage worse, could it? Now, the fact is that nurses are the most important part of the hospital system. Yes, even more important than physicians. If all the nurses were to quit their job today, the hospital system and healthcare would fall apart literally with...
So family, as we've seen some nurses who proudly voted MAGA believing that Trump would protect their jobs and even expand the opportunities and elevate their importance in the medical system are suddenly discovering that the degrees aren't holding the weight that they expected. And this isn't coming from some political rumor mill. This is coming straight from the policies and even rhetoric that have been reshaping the American healthcare labor market. And as the healthcare industry becomes increasingly overwhelmed, underfunded, and even politically polarized, these nurses are running into a growing reality, and their years of schooling, their clinical experience, and even their licenses, everything they worked so hard for suddenly feels like it's being overshadowed by decisions made far above their heads. And family, here's the twist. Many of these nurses voted for Trump believing that he'd fix the system, that he'd cut through bureaucracy, and that he'd stop what they saw as unnecessary healthcare spending. But now, with staffing shortages at all all-time highs and proposals floating around that would make it easier to hire even unlicensed or even minimally trained workers into certain care positions. And a lot of nurses are feeling blindsided. They're realizing that the very push to reduce regulation, a popular MAGA talking point, can also reduce the value of skilled labor. And when regulations fall, obviously, the protections that could keep professional standards high fall with them. And what they thought would streamline their work is now placing them in direct competition with people who haven't spent years in school or paid thousands of dollars for a degree. And that's not an exaggeration. Many of them are openly saying that our degree suddenly matters less now that family, let's be real, this isn't about shaming anyone for how they voted. This is about understanding cause and effect. And healthcare is not an industry that benefits from shortcuts. Patients rely on trained professionals. Families depend on expertise, not cost-cutting experiments. And when political promises sound good in theory but undercut the value of specialized training in practice, the people who worked the hardest end up feeling the consequences first. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Nurses who expect support are watching their field get stretched thinner and thinner, while decision makers look for cheaper alternatives to real medical expertise. And family, this frustration isn't just about job titles or even salaries. It's about dignity. It's about the pride of knowing that what you studied, what you sacrificed, and what you mastered actually means something. And when your degree becomes optional because someone in power thinks anyone can do your job and hits the soul, that's the backfire playing out in real time. And many MAGA supporting nurses who thought they were voting for strength and stability are now feeling like they're unknowingly voted against themselves. But here's the deeper commentary, family. This situation is revealing something bigger about America. When politics tries to simplify complex industries just for applause lines, the professionals lose. And when leaders cut corners instead of investing in education, training, and even quality care, the whole system starts to wobble. And when voters support policies they aren't or haven't looked at closely, it's often their own professions that get shaken fast. So the truth is, nurses are the backbone of the healthcare system. Their value shouldn't be negotiable, and their degree shouldn't be at the mercy of political swings. But in this moment, a lot of MAGA nurses are quietly saying that they feel betrayed because the reality they are living doesn't match the promises they were sold. And that family is where the conversation needs to happen, not in anger, but in clarity. Because if America wants a healthcare system that actually works, it must empower the people who make it function, not minimize their expertise in the name of politics. And this is the real backfire unfolding. And it's making a lot of people rethink everything they thought they understand and how their votes impact their livelihoods.